Hi all, welcome back. This is Dino the Ops Guy, and this is a production management practice, or Stardew Production Management 101. And this is a course where we're basically teaching production management, but we're starting from the production environment. And in this case, I imply the production environment is actually in Stardew Valley. So if we're doing a factory tour, it's a factory tour of Stardew Valley. But it does sort of lay out a lot of things that you'd cover in a regular factory. So it's kind of like as if you were shadowing the plant manager around, and the plant manager was teaching you all the theory and all the stuff from the business world, but in the context of what you're seeing in the factory. So that's at least the plan. This is episode 55, so it's actually day 55, or the second last day of summer in the first year. So if you want to go and see the Stardew Valley story, you can start at the beginning. But from an education standpoint, it tends to bounce around. You don't have to see all of them. You can just sort of cherry pick the ones that make sense to you, and essentially forget the rest. But we're going to do a bit of a recap at the end about what's involved. And we started with this notion of Focus Factory, and we're going to sort of get back to why Focus Factory makes a bit of sense when we get to the product process matrix. But until then, we are going to do what we have to do today in Stardew Valley. I'm the production manager. I guess the strategy guy, and I guess Av would be more the production manager. But we have Av, who's does things on the floor. He basically makes all the fast decisions and tries to make it all work in the sense that things have to be decided on the floor. So I communicate with Av, or I sort of set him up by giving him some objectives that I'd like to see. And today it's going to be water and harvest the crops, pet the animals and produce animal products, prepare the farm for the fall. And we had some discussion last episode what that means. If there's free time, forage or fish or whatever makes the most sense. But at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to the person who's going to do all this. Come on in and take it over, Av. Okay, thanks, Dino. Yeah, we're back. The weather tomorrow is going to be nice for the bay jelly something. I can remember the something about the jellies, but that's going to happen tomorrow. But today we have a decent amount of luck, so that's good. And we got some battery packs. That's also very good. Some mushrooms. I like the mushrooms. I've never really figured out the red mushrooms because you can't eat them. You can't really put them in a jar or anything like that. So I guess you just sell them. So, all right, we have, again, our 5S system is working. We saw that seed that was out in the middle of the pack that we had to get right away, and we got it right away. So that's good. So there's a few things that we're going to try and do to accommodate what Dino was talking about as far as preparing the farm. Certainly, I want to set up a couple chests to better facilitate what's going on. I noticed, we got some stuff in the fruit cave, the bat cave. I also noticed that we got some mahogany or some hardwood that we can harvest. That's nice, and we'll reset those mahogany seeds. And we also wanted to add some fertilizer to the pine trees that we planted yesterday to set up our secondary mushroom farm, or second mushroom farm. So, and the goats are big enough that we can get goat's milk. That's also very good. Oh, you're right. So the goats only give milk every second day, and the way I remember things for that is I remember if they're odd goats or even goats, and clearly these are even goats because they don't have milk today on an odd day. So tomorrow, when we have an even day, we will get goat milk from the goats. We do have to reset all the troughs. Let me clear this out and then we'll get back in. A train is, you know what? We're going to go for the train. So it doesn't happen that often. It usually comes at 9 o'clock when it does. But there's some things you can get from the train. Some stuff is trivial. You can get some emerald boots or emerald shoes or something like that, which are kind of cool. There's grapes. We'll have to come back for more grapes. But right now, even if we just get ores or stones, there we go, stones, I would be happy with that because it seems harder and harder to get stones anymore. So, but that's good. We got some of those. And we got up to see some foraging for the two grapes that we saw. Other than that, we'll just take down this tree because it's here, It's one of those things, if you need a tree right away, you'll take something close by, and this is so far away. By the time we decide on this one, it'll have regrown. So that's a good thing while we're in the process. So we got 1 grape, 2 grape. I don't know if we have enough spiceberry to make the summer seeds, and then the tea saplings. We'll have to take a look. That's not the most important thing in the world, but okay. So we'll get back in. We do have to, like I said, restock the troughs. So we will do that. Not because there's any rain coming immediately, but I never want to get sort of caught short on that. So I do the troughs, checking the pet. We did pet all the animals. That's good. And of course, the new barn, the deluxe barn, has an auto trough, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. That's kind of nice. So as well, we did want to pick up, now that the new barn is finished, we can get a pig. And they're pretty expensive. They're $16,000, but well worth it. So we're going to adopt Oink. And Oink is going to come into our deluxe barn and become part of the family. I think we're going to be really happy with Oink. So that's a good thing. Make our way back. So we've put all the hay in the trays. We're good for that. We should, and we said hi to Oink. There's Oink. We will reload the mayonnaise machine and the cheese press. So that's a good thing. The other thing, like I said, we at some point should put together a chest so that we have, let's put it on towards the front side so it's easier to access. But all the milk and cheese products we're going to put in that chest just to make the flow a little bit easier. So that's sort of one of the things we had discussed in the last episode as far as creating flow. There's a few other chests we want to build, but let's get to the plants first. So you'll notice there's a spot there's 3 corn away from the 8 corn that are already essentially watered. So we're going to put a new watering. I want to put it over just left one, but for now, so that it'll water what's there, we'll sort of keep it to the right and then move it left later when the other plants. Or is that another corn plant? That might be another. We'll see what happens over there. Okay, so dumping off some of the. We do not have we do have a spiceberry. So the spiceberry came from came from the bat cave, from the fruit cave. So we can modify that. We are going to move all of the berries, the blackberries, out because they're not a summer product, they're a fall product. But now that we have that cleared up, we are going to make some summer seeds and use some fiber to make some tea saplings, and then we are set to make a fair bit of money from that. That's good. So we also got some corn, and we have 5 of the gold corn, so that's good. We can use that to finish the bundle, the quality crops bundle. We'll be happy with that. But let's get some, let's harvest some of this hardwood and replant where possible all of the mahogany seeds. So again, we don't use a lot of hardwood, sort of dribble, but we use it all at once. So it's nice to have a lot. Usually if you need hardwood, you need other than the mushroom where you just need 10, but typically you need 100 or 100 or 200 sort of anytime you end up using it. So it's a big thing. So, and we can see there's another seed there that we have. That mossy seed is coming up as well. We do want to create, or I should say fertilize these pine trees. Again, the idea with these pine trees is they're going to grow up full, and then we're going to put immature trees between them, which won't get a chance to get full trees, but they will help us with the mushrooms. So from a mushroom counting standpoint, that's positive. And we're going to take advantage of that. So we're going to sell all of our corn. We're going to sell, I think we got some mayonnaise in there. But we're also going to keep that, the 5 gold corn, the 5 gold quality corn for the sake of that bundle. Oh, and we got another hops. We just happen to have the hops on us. And that makes it all work out. We don't have a lot of stone even after getting... I thought we got more than 2, but all right, it is what it is. So we'll deal with that. Gonna make our way over to we're just going to say hi to Vincent, but we have that ticket that we got yesterday, so we're going to use it on the ticket machine in Mayor Lewis's house, and we're going to get 4 sprinklers. That's awesome. So that's we're going to use that. The idea being it's just less time watering. We're going to say hi to Martin. We didn't get a chance to say hi to her other than across the counter. So it's going to help us with the watering time. So we can focus on other things like refilling kegs and refilling jars and that sort of thing. So there'll still be some watering, but it'll go a lot faster. So we got another jar, and this preserves jar we're going to use. There was some talk about look at next to the peach tree, next to the apple tree, having 3 jars because that cadence matches sort of the jars take 2.5 to 3 days. We'll call it 3 days, and the apple tree or the peach tree independently based on the season will give 1 product per day per tree. So if we line up 3 jars with 1 tree, it should match exactly. So that's sort of the plan here. And to start it off, we're just going to put a peach in it because we've already taken the peach off the tree. But if we have everything set up properly, so that's where I want to put it. And then you can see sort of every 3rd one here, sort of every 4th one or 3rd, whatever. So the idea being that we can put 8 around each sprinkler, and that'll work out perfectly. So we got some more pale ale. And I mentioned it earlier, you can just see how sort of lucrative the kegs and the jars can be, just because once they start, once you get a bunch of them and they start producing, it's just sort of, take them out, put them in the shipper, take them out, put them in the shipper. So that's pretty good. Given that we have a little more luck, we can go mining, and given that we need copper and stone, we're going to mine the lower levels. Let's go to 10. It was sort of a random pick, whether it was 5, 10, or 15. 10 is a bit of a disadvantage because if you get off and you don't like the level, you can't go back into the elevator because at 10 you have to go down the ladder to see the first real level. So, but that's not, every once in a while it's worth giving it a try. We got some emeralds. I like that. So just making our way. We're not in a rush to find the ladder, and even though we just did find it, but after finding the ladder, we'll take a look. No real more copper. Just take the quick stones and then carry on. And we got more emerald. I like this. So we'll grab that emerald, grab that copper, as well as all the stones that sort of get convenient for those. And then we'll make our way down. Again, the ladders just keep coming, which is nice. And we're going to use those. Now we got a bigger floor, so it's nice that we can take a broader look as to things we want. I like that big stone. We'll get the earth crystal. That's kind of nice, kind of free money there. And it's already midnight. Look at that. So we'll just sort of make our way, sort of chopping through and down and back up. We could have taken the ladder. It's easier for the elevator if we're going to use this chest. So I think everything is set for the chest. Head our way back home. We've already closed the barn door and the coop door, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's worth refilling what needs to be refilled. We got our last chanterelle. And we're going to, like I said, use turn over the cheese and the mayonnaise, which is good, and we have a bit of time. We probably have enough time to make a chest for the jars. So we're going to have 1 set of jars here, and we're going to have the other set of jars at the peach tree like we were setting up. So we're actually splitting the jars. There's a method to that madness, and I'm just moving all the mushrooms in. Dino's going to talk a bit about it, but it gets into what's called cellular layouts. So essentially the peach and apple trees will be sort of coordinated with the chests on that side, and that's going to be 1 cell. And these preserve jars are going to be against the fence here, and that's going to be another cell. And the opposite would be like a functional layer, or we have all the jars in the same spot. And it's nice to start that way if you don't really know where things are going. But as you see things evolve, it's better to run more towards a focused factory style cellular layout. So that's kind of the plan. And Dino's going to talk a bit about that. Certainly expound on that. And the weather report for the next day is going to be beautiful. And the spirits are going to be in good humor. So I'm going to turn it back to you, Dino. Thanks, Av. That worked well. We got a few things done. Certainly the watered and harvested crops, and we got a whole bunch of sprinklers to help us water. Tomorrow won't be as a big a deal. I don't think we even have to water other than the corn and the sunflowers tomorrow. But thereafter, it'll make watering a lot easier, so that's good. Pet all the animals, process the animal products, and in this case, goats only produce every other day, so we figured out we have even goats. So on even days, we're going to do that. Prepare the farm for the fall, and I think I did make a fair bit of headway there. So that worked out very, very well. Now, I was also talking about something that I'm going to get into. So when I teach production management or when I teach operations management, I usually start with the product process matrix and work towards focus factory and some of the other things that we've discussed already. But if I'm in the production environment, what I find is it's the disparity in different factories, the thing where you're trying to do completely different things side by side that strikes me first. So given that we've started in the production environment, it doesn't really surprise me that this has been flipped. But typically the product process matrix is done, discussed beforehand. And there, it comes out of an article, I think in 1979, by Hayes and Wheelwright, two masters of operations, two operations giants. But the idea being there's a couple of dimensions on which you can sort of look at production. One is it low volume or high volume or something in the middle? What's sort of the frequency at which we're starting new things? And the other dimension is standardization. Are we making the same thing over and over and over again? Or is it bespoke? Is it something different for each customer? Do we have to set it up differently each time? That sort of thing. And what they've discovered is there's a diagonal that works, and everywhere other than the diagonal, it causes a lot of inefficiencies. So if you have something that's low standardization and you're not doing a million of them, then Job Shop works perfectly. As you get a few more, you're going to start looking at maybe batching the processes. But at some point, if it doesn't change standardization, if everything's just bespoke, trying to get to very, very high volume becomes very, very difficult. But if you can standardize by reducing what you're offering, etc., delaying customization, those types of tricks, then you can actually work towards either line flow or a continuous improvement, continuous process. But the idea being you don't want to be on the opposite diagonals. They just don't seem to work as well. So in the sense that we have for Stardew Valley, I've tried to sort of put in things that you'd consider. So for example, quests are kind of like that low standardization. Every quest is kind of different. And we don't get 100 quests a day. It's like one every other day, thereabouts, right? So from that standpoint, it fits sort of in the Job Shop realm because it's very unique, each one, and there's not a lot of them. And then you compare that to, let's say, a kiln where we're just putting in wood. I'm using a lot of it because we want a lot of coal. But it's very standardized, very straightforward. So that tends to just become a continuous process that pretty much anytime I have wood, I'm going to walk over and drop some in, that sort of thing. It really doesn't need a lot of intro, doesn't need a lot of setup. It just sort of goes on its own. Honey tends to be like that because we're just touching the honey once we've set up the flowers and stuff. But kegs and jars, and to some extent how we plant things, the plots, design, and the animals, we have more flexibility from the standpoint that we can decide by planting only pumpkins or by only having one type of animal that we can sort of standardize that and limit how much, highly standardized, limit how much flexibility that we need in there so that we can be more efficient, but then we give up other things. So there's that sort of trade-off, right? So really when you look at it, we're looking at sort of the degree to dedication. Do we want to dedicate the entire farm just to cows? Well, then we can have a continuous process of just cows on the end. But then we're forcing that standardization. So that's kind of how we're thinking of it. But certainly you don't want to be caught, like I said, on the diagonal. So you don't want to have a special thing set up so you can do a quest every 10 minutes, because you're not going to get one every 10 minutes. On the other hand, we look at what we're doing with peaches and apples. We're going to get a peach or an apple, depending on the season, one every day. They exactly fit into a jar. So what ends up happening is we can create our own special factory, call it a cell, where everything we need for that cell is all set aside and is different than what we would have from before, being essentially a functional layout. So where in the beginning we had all the jars in one spot, all the kegs in one spot, etc. So it's very functional. Now we're going to have 3 jars set next to the fruit trees so that they become their own factory, if you will. And you take something out of the fruit, off the tree, put it in the preserve jar, and every day you get a new one and a new spot for the next fruit. And that sort of becomes its own factory on a scale almost like, a bit of line flow type, continuous improvement type, where you get that efficiency because we force that standardization. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section. Happy to respond to that. Hoping you're getting something educationally out of this, or at least entertainment-wise. But other than that, we hope to see you next episode. It'll be the end of fall. But until then, this is Dino the Ops Guy signing off.